Bingo. So we were just talking
Yeah.
about video games off camera, which is kind of the start of streaming in general. So good place to start. We had the Mon Out in the Morning Christmas jingle, which reminds us of kind of OG Fortnite days back like 2017, 2018. I don't think anything will ever replicate how fun those times were. Maybe during COVID was honestly the best because there was nothing to do besides play Fortnite. Couldn't see people, couldn't do anything.
Yeah. I feel like it'll come back. Like there will be great days of video games again in the future. I'm confident.
I've been playing
But
in a
Joseph, you were
god
saying
game.
the Arc Raiders.
Arc
What is
Raiders,
this?
yeah. It's an extraction shooter. So it's like a completely different dynamic because like you so like in Fortnite you go in and you just everybody has zero loot. You're going in and then finding your loot and kill people. Well, this one like you have a home base and you collect loot, but then you pick what you want to bring into the game and if somebody kills you or the arcs, the robots kill you, then you lose it and there's like proximity chat so you can like go up to people and you're like I'm friendly, don't shoot me, and it's created this crazy dynamic where like some people are uh like psychopaths come out, they'll befriend you the whole game and then shoot you in the back at the end. You're like what the hell, bro? Like,
Sounds like crypto.
Oh my God.
it is the weirdest dynamic I've ever played in a video game.
It's similar.
That's wild.
I was watching some videos on it because like when I get back to LA, I want to focus a lot on like desktop streaming. I think desktop streaming is kind of like I know it's still the most popular on Twitch, like just chatting, but I think it's kind of a lost art because so many people have focused so much on the IRL like stream clips, like the neons and stuff that I think gaming and like desktop streaming kind of makes a comeback. Like I feel like we've hit the peak of the Mafiathons, Kai Cenats, these big productions, and I think it kind of resets a bit. I could be wrong, but I was looking up like some games that are kind of popular right now, and Arc Raiders is one of them. And I was watching FaZe Jeb play it, and it's kind of like Rust, except you can go back to your like base, and it's like all your stuff there is safe. Whereas in Rust, you like build your base in the game, and people can raid your base. But it looked cool, like it looked
Dude,
interesting.
everybody is playing it. Like it's insane how all the big streamers are playing it right now. Like
That's good. We needed a game though. Like again,
yeah.
like Fortnite did it like it's still, Fortnite's still Fortnite, but it kind of like ran its course. I think there was like a game that kind of needed to come in and like spark it up, like liven up like the gaming scene a little bit too.
The
Is
number
that is that Arc Raiders? Like, is it to the point where it's like, oh, this is the new
it
game?
feels like
Like
it.
that's how much it's. I'm not plugged into the gaming sphere that much, but like I'm really hoping this is true because I would love to go download it and play the new thing.
Yeah, it
Um,
feels like it. It
it sounds like I
feels
should.
yeah. The number two most watched streamer for December 2025 was Burnt Peanut, who's a VTuber streaming Arc Raiders.
That's what's
That's a
so
good
crazy.
Peanut.
His name's Burnt Peanut. It's pretty stupid, but like just an Arc Raider streamer though is the number two on Twitch for all Twitch streamers. Like that's huge.
Yeah, that's what's so crazy about like when you have these new games come on the scene that become really popular. It like it also like blows up new talent. Like that like Burnt Peanut. Like correct me if I'm wrong, but he's actually a peanut, right?
Yeah,
Like he
yeah, yeah.
plays yeah.
It's literally a peanut in the corner with his eyes and mouth, and that's it.
Yeah,
Dude,
it's
this is totally off topic, but I'm looking at the chat right now, and I think one or two people have Jakey confused with Jesse Pollock from Base.
What?
So
Under what?
Ethan,
Under what pretense?
Ethan Dubai is like, yo, Jakey, in your opinion, will Coinbase be at the forefront in terms of innovation, asset tokenization, official network, base app, etc.? Jakey,
Yeah, so I'm here to
any
talk about
takes there?
Coinbase today. I'm here to talk about Coinbase's future and why I think Base is the best. Yeah, I don't know. I can't answer that question, brother. I'm not. Yeah, I'm not that.
The based house got a little confused with the based token.
You know what's crazy? I actually, so me and Jesse have actually gone back and forth a little bit. I've like poked fun at him, but he actually supported the Based House early on. He like bought all of our coins because he's like super like we're in the same lane. This whole creator coins thing, and then recently, sometime along season 2, I seen him retweet something, and it was this thing called the Based House, but it was like a house, like a creator house on base, and it was called the Base House. And I just thought it was like funny. I made like some like stupid reply to it or whatever, but yeah, they're different. Base is Coinbase, Zora, and then Based House is just this house that streams on Pump Fun, I guess. I don't know, but they're different.
Yeah, I just had
Can you?
to.
Yeah,
What's
this is
up,
where
Ken?
the virtual. This is our first fully virtual Mon in the morning, I believe. Jakey, can you do a breakdown of the Based House for, like, from your point of view? I feel like it would be interesting to hear, like, this is kind of where the idea came from. This is what it
Yeah.
started off. This is kind of where we're currently at. Because
Yeah.
it seems super interesting. Like, this is like, I don't know. I
Yeah.
feel like people hear about these things, and then if they don't directly follow them, they're like, "Oh, this is cool. This is going on." But I would love to learn just more about what's kicking
Yeah.
there.
I mean, I guess inception wise, I grew up funny enough, like with all the, talk around FaZe Clan and all the stuff that they've had going on. Truthfully, I've always been very inspired by what they've done. I kind of got into like making YouTube videos and content on the internet, mainly through skateboarding originally, but I also went down the gaming path. And I spent summers, winters, years just on my, PS3. And so when they did Face House New York, it was like always a dream of mine to do a content house in some form or fashion. I just never really, when it came to YouTube, I never made it to that pinnacle like point where I had the influence or I had the star power to put on my own content house. And then sometime last year, this was, it was a rocky start to the year for us, at like Super Based. And we were kind of like looking at like, what's the next steps? And my videographer, Colton, he was like, we should like try to figure out what this, like a content house finally. Like, I feel like it can make sense, like we've seen what Probably Nothing and those guys kind of did. We're a little bit different. We think we can make it work a little bit better on the content side. but we needed it to make sense in crypto. So there had to have been some type of crypto integration. And then we were in Bali at the time, and we were like coming up with this like Big Brother style, like having people come into the house, get voted out. And that's where we kind of manufactured the idea of every person that comes in the house should have their own token, and the worst performing, creator token in the house gets voted out. That was the original idea. And it just so happened that when we were formulating this idea, and we actually coined the term creator capital markets, because at the time, internet capital markets with Ben Pasternak and the Believe like Launchpad, we kind of just took that and we're like, well, internet capital markets, IPOing your company, your brand on chain can be very similar to a creator, like a creator just, launching their own stock, for the sake of conversation on chain. And so we ended up having a conversation within 48 hours with Pump Fund while we were in Bali after coining the term creator capital markets. And they were like, just synergized with us. They were like, this sounds like a great idea because we're already in the mix of doing a new push for the streaming. Like that's where we want to take Pump Fund for the next, for our next leg up. Like that's kind of where we see Pump Fund's like near future is in the streaming stuff. And so it just kind of felt like a partnership that just was meant to happen. And so that's where the Base House kind of, had its inception. I think the Base House started June 1st, and we carried out that Big Brother feeling a little bit where it was more like a reality show, but slowly but surely unfortunately, there's not it's not a staying climate, especially here in crypto, because things just move so fast. And so for me and like Steve, we kind of just chatted. And we were like, we got to find our like David Dobrik vlog squad. Like we need our crew. Like in order for this content house to work, there needs to be narratives. There needs to be chemistry. Like we need to build that. And that's what it slowly shifted into. Season 1 was a lot of like trial and tribulations. It was a lot of degeneracy, just like shock value. And then season 2 was basically the same thing with more output and a lot of trials and tribulations, figuring out what works and what doesn't. There's a lot of things that are broken that don't really work with the whole creator capital markets thing. And we're trying to figure out and navigate, because I think inevitably it makes sense. And I do think there's a world where Pump Fund can compete with something like Twitch or Kick. There needs to be some changes. And I think they're, going into 2026, they're going to do those things. But yeah, I don't know. That's kind of like the journey up until now. I skipped, a lot of parts, but it's a creator house. It's crypto native. Doesn't mean it's purely crypto, on the streaming side. The idea is that the talent in the house blows up. And not only in crypto do they have a platform, overall, they're a well-rounded creator on the internet. And that was our idea by having homegrown talent, is like proving that Steve and I can also build homegrown talent, that we can take people that don't really have followers, that are basically unknown, someone like Iseem, and build them up alongside the Jakey brand and everything that I've done over the past 5 years. So yeah, I don't know if I probably skipped a lot of parts, but that's kind of
No, it's awesome.
Now
I want to come out. Can we come out and do something there? I don't know, a couple days.
Well,
Danny, Joseph, what do you guys think?
I've tried, and like it was literally you guys were headed to Vegas the day I was getting there. But yeah,
I've talked to Danny. Like we have to make it happen. Unfortunately, in season 2, I'm gonna be honest. Like I'll just say it candidly. From surface level, like you guys see the content, whoever watches, they watch content, they're like, oh, this is fun or whatever. But it was a big headache, because it's like we're trying to level this thing up. Like this thing needs to it needs to work, essentially. Like there's no other way to really put it. And so season 2, it was like we cut off a lot of distractions, and it was like even collaborations, people coming over to the house, like that open invite that we had in season 1, I basically blocked off, because I was like, you guys need to wake up and you need to be in a routine. You need to wake up and breathe content. You should have no free time. And season 2 just got away from me so fast, but I'll keep it short. Season 3, when we start here in the new year, I would love for you guys to come out for a weekend or however long you guys want, and let's do some shit. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
What's kind of funny is that you mention it, like you're like, all right, lock in and you guys need to work. Like that would have been a cool thing to showcase. Like it's like a creator boot camp.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like some of it is documented. We cut off a lot of like, it sucks too because the high production, the like quality vlogs and stuff like that are my favorite because they're like a real
Yeah.
product. The short form stuff is like cool brain rot. It like, serves the timeline. But we even cut off the high production stuff because it was like, let's simplify this as much as possible. Wake up, post a funny video, and then stream and like get clips on the stream and just do that. Like, let's just simplify it as much as possible so that these guys aren't confused as to what they should be doing. We're not like, because when you have all, and I'm sure you guys probably have been here with the stream for pipeline, everything monad. When you have 10 different buckets, but you're only putting 10% in each of them, you're not really getting anywhere. And so
Yeah.
for us, we were like, let's just take 2 buckets and fill them up completely and just do those the best that we can. And but yes, like
I,
season 3, I would love to have the camera out more again and like documenting, the process.
So I definitely missed those really high production. They felt like TV shows. Like, you had your intro, you had it felt like a mini show episode on
Yeah.
season 1, right? But as somebody who's like, I've been, creating my own YouTube videos and long form, and I haven't made a long form video in a while. And honestly, as kind of a creator and an artist, like, I miss those because there's so much more substance to that. Like, you're telling a
Yep.
story as opposed to the short form. It's just fast food. It's literally like, oh yeah, we're just putting this thing out, and it's funny, it gets attention, and it'll do well, but it like doesn't really move anybody. Um, and so I guess I just say that to I understand that, like, there's no meat to it.
Yeah. I'm in the same boat. Like I grew up like as a creator on the internet, my like YouTube, like the pinnacle thing for me was like I remember even early on I was doing these Instagram, like I started off getting a bunch of followers on Instagram because I was getting posted on World Star a bunch. And I actually I think this is one of my biggest flops of my career was I was one of the first people. I don't know if you guys are familiar with like Supreme Patty, Boom Gang, like all these like
Yeah.
early Instagram guys. Like at one point, Supreme Patty was like his like friend manager was paying me to use his music in my videos, and Boom Gang was in my DMs asking to collab because I was like one of the first people to kind of like re-spark that jackass like stunt, like there was a wave there, and I was kind of like one of the pioneers for that on Instagram because I was getting posted on World Star. I had my own hashtag on World Star, but I flopped so heavily because in my mind I was so focused on the idea of being a YouTuber that I wasn't really posting I'm getting all these followers on Instagram, but I'm not feeding them content. Instead, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to convert them to YouTube, and we kind of already know how hard it is to convert from this platform to this platform. People are on that platform, they follow you on that platform to see your content there. Like it's just convenient for them. And instead of just giving them what I was supposed to and milking the situation of like all these followers coming over to my Instagram, I'm trying to convert them. I'm not even giving them content on that platform. And I think, the trajectory of me in Web 2 and my content, if I would have just doubled down on Instagram back then instead of trying to convert to YouTube, it might have been actually a lot different. I probably have millions of followers. I probably would have, kind of cooked like Supreme Patty did in his like prime. And it just goes to kind of what you're saying, where it's like we're in an era, especially on X, where it's like the things that have worked the best right now are these like brain rot crypto comedy videos. And so it's like if that's what pulls the views, do that. Maybe it's not the most fulfilling thing, but if you can get it to a point where people now give a shit about the long format content, like you have enough of an audience where that makes sense to spend all this time making, that would be like the dream, is like getting to that point. But I don't feel like we ever got there with the Based House yet, and I'm hoping season 3 we can. And
The
yeah.
I think, like, because I've watched a lot of different like YouTubers, like the kind of the, for lack of a better word, gurus, on just like how to make a successful YouTube channel and stuff like that. And one of the things though is like it's not even just difficult to convert platforms; it's difficult to convert types of formats. So like YouTubers who have started with shorts coming out on YouTube and people who have indexed significantly on shorts have a really hard time of converting people from, if they've built this audience with shorts, then they release long form and those long form videos flop. So they may have millions of views and big followings and subscribers because of their short form. But then the second they, like the guy, that Asian kid that does the mystery gift
Yeah,
videos, yeah, like
yeah.
he releases vlogs and they were not doing well at all. But all of his short form videos were doing really well. So, um,
It's 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 like a, sorry to cut you off. It's like a psychological thing because like I even find myself where like I go to watch a certain person for the type of content that I'm familiar that like with
yeah,
what they make, right? So like for example, I was heavily inspired, you know, when I first started on YouTube watching Casey Neistat. And I could
yeah,
sit there and watch a whole Casey Neistat video, no problem. But like I can't sit here and say, although he's the greatest to ever do it on YouTube. So like I'm not saying like whatever, but like Mr. Beast, I've never been a huge Mr. Like I don't watch it. Like I very rarely have watched a full Mr. Beast video, but I watch Mr. Beast like TikToks and shorts and like Instagram reels, right? But that's just what I like when I envision Mr. Beast. That's just the type of content that I go to view for him. I very rarely go to his YouTube channel and watch there. Whereas with Casey Neistat, I don't think he makes TikToks or reels, so it's a bad example. But it's like I never go to his TikTok or Instagram page. It's like if I want to watch Casey, I go to his YouTube to watch 13 minutes of a Casey vlog. So I think
yeah.
it's like this psychological thing where it's like, yeah, if you're used to this person, like me being the mime, watching me on Instagram, you know, it's probably hard for you to go over to my YouTube and give a shit about that because it's like that's not what you want to watch me for. You want to see me with the mime makeup on Instagram and getting injured, you know? I don't know. And like the internet's just so niche now, dude. It's like it's not about being the biggest YouTuber anymore. It's about are you the biggest in your niche? And that's where it's
Well,
the most lucrative.
what's crazy over the weekend is seeing Nick Shirley, a YouTuber, put a video on X who
Yeah.
just passed 100 million views on X, which is probably more than he's ever gotten on YouTube ever. And it's a 42-minute video.
It's
Uh,
insane.
Dude,
I
I
actually,
saw his account. It was like 200K, and
Yeah.
then I saw like Elon quote tweeted him the next day, and I hopped on and was like, "Damn, I wonder." And he was at like 600K followers. I don't even know what he's at now. It's probably
yeah, I mean, the
When I
video
even
was doing
passed
higher.
that, I
100
think it
million
was at like
views.
150 or like 830.
I
Now he's at
actually wanted to bring that up.
900K.
Because that's
I
Mr.
wanted,
Beast numbers. Like, that's insane.
Yeah.
But I'm very
I,
curious what the monetization is. Like, is he gonna make more money if with that 100? Like, what are the comparisons? Like, how much money will he make off of 100 million view video on
Well,
X versus 100 million view on YouTube? Because
well, you know, not to take away from Nick Shirley at all, but I do think it's like the right wing political content is probably like at least over like the last 2 years is probably the most lucrative content to make on the internet, especially on X, because it's like you know the guy that owns the platform.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's his whole thing is that, so it's like of course it's going to get as much push as possible, especially when it's like it just fits his narrative so well in terms of monetization. I mean, if Nick Shirley plays it correctly, like again, one of the most lucrative uh, areas to be a creator in on the internet is journalism. You look at someone like even what's his name? I used to watch him,
Tyler
Andrew,
Oliveira or
him as well, but Andrew Callahan from Channel Five. He used to be All Gas No Breaks. He was kind of like
oh yeah, yeah.
the kind of pioneer in the modern day journalism, but it's like those guys just crush it now because it's probably some of the only long format content that people are really watching because it fits a narrative. And it's like everything, even look at crypto, everything is, are you this side or that side? And it's like, if you're this side, you're going to watch it because you agree with everything they're saying.
I wanted to bring that
Yeah.
up though,
I think
because I was going to bring that up anyways. And then after I bring this up, I want to spin the wheel for the chat. But um, Thread Guy put out a video last night, like 11-minute selfie monologue. I watched it on 1.5 speed this morning. And he basically said that content coins are a major failure. And this Nick Shirley coin on Zora was like the big test. And it failed like for all of these reasons, because this right-wing content just goes so viral, particularly on X. But I was curious, like, Jakey, as you're kind of iterating on the next season of the Based House, what you think about that. And before I even like fully tee that up, like there's two things that I think are really unique and cool about Based House. And one is that you've stuck with it through like multiple iterations. Like you didn't just try an experiment for a month and then say like, oh, there's things that could be improved, but like, we don't have 5 million market cap coins, 10 million market cap coins, like sustainably, like let's bag the thing. No, you're like continuing to iterate. So that's one of the things that I really think is cool, really respect. And then the second is you've actually been able to get some good talent in the house. Like that's not particularly easy. And I think some of these guys, as raw and new as they are to the game, have like a lot of potential. Like some of Iseem's videos are just absolutely hilarious. And you can tell that he hasn't been doing this for 10 years, but he kind of has it. Like he's electric to watch on camera. Like when he dresses up as Borat and walks around LA, it's like, okay, this is like maybe our next Borat. Like I could see him being giga viral in a year or 2 years. But I'm curious like what you think about like the crypto integration with content and how that continues to play out. Like do you agree that like the creator coins are require like more iteration or adjustments? Like do you go a different direction entirely?
Yeah, I watched Thread Guy's video last night. Damn, he uses a lot of buzzwords, like words that kind of fly over my head a little bit, to be honest. But it's hard to disagree with a lot of things he's saying. Like, yeah, they don't work right now, but I feel like crypto does, like, people in crypto do this thing where they like box everything in, they put a window to everything, and they're like, it failed. And it's like, why is it a failure when it's an experiment? Why is it a failure after 6 months? Why can't this be a year experiment? Like, how come we have to label everything a failure? We can say it's maybe not working, but like calling it just dead, it didn't work, it's a failure, feels a little bit naive to me. And then on like the case again, and I've been a heavy critic of Zora and Base. Like I've never been a huge fan of how Jesse has kind of approached it. But I feel like it's also naive to think that the Nick Shirley thing was a failure because it topped at 10 mil. The guy made $65,000. As the creator, Nick Shirley took home $65,000 in a matter of 48 hours. So if you were to go to Zora just to watch the content, I'm not saying people do or what, you watch the content, right? You decided as a trader to speculate that this coin was going to go up. Maybe you made money, maybe you lost money. But at the end of the day, the platform did what it was supposed to do for the creator. It benefited the creator. He made $65,000 for the content that he was creating. And if you were to go do that on something like Patreon, I think there's an argument to be made that he wouldn't have been able to make that much on Patreon in that short amount of time. I do think if he were to have done a GoFundMe, it probably could have cooked, right? Because people are familiar with GoFundMe. But then it takes away the part that we love in crypto, which is the speculative factor. The fact that, well, if he made a GoFundMe, we can't, maybe there's a prediction market, great, but we can't bet on a token. So I feel like people complaining that, the token flopped because it only hit 10 mil is like, well, unfortunately, the argument of like these things having a lifespan are a thing. Like, I think what I'm saying is I think the platform served its purpose for the creator like it was supposed to. Like calling it a failure is a little bit naive. And I think, there are some things that if I were Jesse or I were, on the base side, yeah, I would have milked it a little bit more. I'm not in the legal area. I don't know what you can or can't say when it comes to tokens, especially, Coinbase being one of the most prominent figures in all of crypto. I don't know what they can and can't do, but ideally they would have, showed a little bit more public support. Like that was a big opportunity. I think they flopped a little bit on that end, but calling Zora a failure and the whole operation of these content and creator coins a failure is a little bit, yeah, it doesn't make sense to me. I think it's like quick judgment, and it served Nick Shirley. He made $65,000. So, and then when you look at creator capital markets as a whole, like yeah, it's like it's an uphill battle. It's like the psychological thing of, I guess what my argument from the very beginning was, you're taking a stab at someone early and you're able to invest in them instead of just subscribing to them and following their YouTube channel. You can actually have money on the line and like kind of bet that these guys are going to go the distance. Unfortunately, in crypto, yeah, the attention spans are short, like lifespans are short, and it's hard to maintain that attention because it's two battles. Iceem can still go and gain followers. He hasn't fell off because his token's at 26K, but there's two battles where it's like you have to prioritize the consistency of your content, the quality of your content, streams, everything. And then you also have to figure out the token side. Like there are two battles, like token growth. How are you getting more holders? Are you doing activations? Are you actively like building a community on the token side? And I think those were two, things that I learned throughout season 1 and season 2 of even just the base token and the base house is I basically did no prioritization of the token because I was just simply betting on my ideology of, well, if the content's good and we grow as a brand, as a media company, the token will go up with it. And that's just that was naive of me. Like you have to prioritize the token. Like there needs to be things set in place where it's like, I'm sorry, I'm going to come out and say it's like market making, token supply control. Like these are all things that like no one wants to kind of say out loud, but in order for a token to be successful, you need to have those, you have to have your like ducks in a row on that end. And we haven't. So I think going to season 3, those are things that we want to do. And yeah, I'm going to sit here and say, yeah, sentiment on creator capital markets, creator coins, content coins, whatever you want to call it, is probably all-time low. I think it might be the most hated. I don't want to call it a meta, but for the sake of conversation, I think it's the most hated meta of 2025. Like in terms of, these tokens go up, tokens go down, like meme coin area, the trenches, I think it might be the most hated. And so I don't know if it's going to work. I would really hope it does. I do have confidence it does. I think, if it is going to work, it's going to be the base house that figures it out. But it's an experiment, just like most things in crypto. Things don't work out, things do work out. And yeah, and again, like I watched our guy's video. It's hard to argue a lot of the points that current day, what he's saying, it is true. But I don't know what that looks like 6 months from now,
100%. Well, let's get a spin going for the chat. Let's give away some MON. We're gonna do it a little bit different today from how we typically do. Oftentimes we take questions from the chat, ask them to our guest, and then award the question asker a spin. We're going to do it a little bit differently today, though. So we've got some fun little games, I guess, if you will. And if any of us loses a challenge, then we get to do like a trivia or guess the number in the chat. Whoever guesses the number first, whoever gets the trivia question right, gets the spin of the wheel. Jessup hits it, then we record their prize. So if you're on Twitch, make sure that you put your X username, your X handle in your bio so that we can DM you on X to get your wallet address. If you are a winner, that's how we will reach out to you to make sure that we can send out your prize. And especially with the holidays, we're a little bit backed up on distribution. So appreciate everyone's patience. If you won in a previous week and we owe you some MON, we have it tracked. We will get to you. But make sure you have your DMs on X as well. There's been a couple people reaching out like, hey, how do I collect my prize? You got to have your DMs on so we can reach out to you on X. And if you're on Twitch, you got to put your X handle in your bio so that we can figure out who you are, make sure we have the right person. But let's do a little warm up. I'm thinking of a number. And when I see it in the chat, I'm going to write it down just so we have, the proof of authenticity, and first person to get the number gets a spin. It's an easy one to start off. So
is it 10, Danny?
No, it's not 10.
And
Oh, I guess I'm only looking at the Twitch chat right now. I can't see the X chat as well. So
nothing's coming in on the X chat anyway. So
cool. Well, this one's I'm only looking at Twitch. You got to be on Twitch if you want to win this one. Also, subscribe, like, retweet, comment, all that good stuff. I still don't see it yet. A couple are pretty close. Ooh, one is very close.
somebody on X said 6'7".
Oh, I see it. Monkey Duffy 957. Got it. Can we get a focus? 33.
33.
33.
Monkey Duffy crushes these.
Monkey Duffy. Make sure you got I know I follow you on Twitter, but I don't see your Twitter name in your Twitch bio. Get it in there, monkey. All right, Jessup. Hit the spin for our boy Monkey. Let's start off good today.
42.
Oh.
42. Hey, it's
Oh.
it's better than 0.
There's
maybe.
If it lands on the big wheel, we will just make note of it and we'll spin it next time when we're back in the studio with the big wheel.
The anticipation of a big wheel going an entire week until you can see if you got it or not would be crazy. The big wheel has huge prizes on it.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I think if I remember correctly, the biggest prize on the big wheel is 42,690 MON, which is not bad. Not bad at all.
I feel like there's some close to 100 almost. I don't know. Maybe I'm off.
There was one that was, I think, 69,000 for a few weeks, and then 42,000 became the most high.
Got you. I did my homework and I wrote a few would you rathers, and I'm curious because I know I need to hop, unfortunately, in 15 minutes. Are we gonna get to these?
Let's run it.
Yeah,
let's run it.
Quite a few too.
Okay.
All right. How about if you ask a would you rather, then you get to do a trivia or a guess the number or something to pick someone from the chat after we talk about it. So we'll spin for each one.
Well, I think the chat should answer it too. I want to see what their answers are.
Best answer to the question in the chat gets it.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, cool.
So my first would you rather is, would you rather spend 30 days in jail with SBF, or you have to convert to a diehard Andrew Tate simp, like life-consuming Andrew Tate simp in all aspects of your life for a full year?
I'm in jail.
So a month in jail with SBF or Andrew Tate simp for a year.
Dude, I am I'll go first. Can I go first? I'm 100% I'm 100% taking the jail because it's 30 days, compared to a year where it's basically like a humiliation ritual, in a public format. And at least in jail, people could say whatever they want about SBF, but I would assume he's a pretty smart guy. I might come out of that with a new Ponzi or something to get super lucrative from SBF. And I think I'd make use of my 30 days in jail with him, and I come out with a lot of stories. For the lore, it makes the most sense.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe to paint, well, Danny, you go ahead as well. Yeah.
Well, I'm trying to think okay, what does it look like if you convert to a diehard Andrew Tate simp? One,
right.
what does my day-to-day life look like? And two, how much respect am I losing from my family and my friends and everyone that knows me?
Let me strongman both sides on how I'm breaking down the two of these. I think 30 days in jail with SBF, I think the vast majority of that experience is actually just going to jail, which stinks. And so like the SBF side is like a minor component for the majority of your day to day. It's like you're just going to jail for a month, which is brutal. Um, I'm not sure if SBF would be open to chatting about things. I do think I mean, he's clearly extremely smart, right? He might have a couple miscalculations in there.
Yeah.
But like on a few specific things, the guy's brain is just overpowered. Um, so I think maybe you could learn some stuff. You could have some good ideas. After there would probably be this whole like, oh, what did you guys talk about? And there's kind of media around it. But I do think on the Andrew Tate side, like you know how he always kind of he like tries to find like success stories of people that like follow all of his stuff and then they're successful. And then he's like, look at this guy, he did all the stuff that I said, and now he's super successful. Like, what if you got to that level? Like you have a full year, you're already starting with like some platform, crypto specific. Like you could get, I don't know. It is humiliation in a lot of forms, but I think there are a couple win verticals as well.
I'm taking the jail. Like, yeah.
I don't know, man. It kind of 30 days in jail, I do agree, would not be fun. But at the same time, I feel like it would be a lot of work to actually be like a massive Andrew Tate simp. Like you gotta make like some form of like your own content. You gotta like spend a bunch of time in Hustlers Academy. Then you gotta like, go to Christmas or Thanksgiving or something and just be like,
Yeah.
going on rants.
Dude, I got a couple books that I'll read in 30 days. Like, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jail, like, it definitely sucks. You get to disconnect from everything for a little bit, brings you back down to the to earth.
Dopamine levels reset.
Yeah, Andrew Tate simp for a whole year is just, it's brutal. Those people are the worst, bro. Like online, like those guys, like when Andrew Tate fought Chase Demore recent, I remember seeing, I don't know how I got on that side of Twitter because I was like engaging, whatever. And like some people were like, I don't, this was a robbery, like, and I don't know if you guys watched the fight. It was garbage. It was awful,
yeah.
but it was very obvious he lost. And the Andrew Tate simps were just like, they're just so caught up in it that it's like Andrew Tate won this round, whatever. And like, it was just bad.
I would
It's like
even
not.
venture to say that the Andrew Tate simps are worse than Andrew Tate. Like, he'll say things that you're like, all right, he's intelligently just saying that as a troll. He doesn't even believe that. And then the people in the comments that are supporting it, you're like, bro, come on.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, I think one time he posted, like, sushi is gay, and then, but, like, there's, like, he eats sushi. So it's like, it's just was to try to get engagement bait, but then the people in the comments are like, yeah, you are gay if you eat sushi.
Yeah, imagine eating sushi.
Yeah.
You're gay for eating that.
Oh man. All right. So clear winner. We would all rather go to jail with SBF for an entire month than simp Andrew Tate for a year.
I gotta shout out amazing Erich in the chat. Long time Mono in the Morning listener who said he wants to do a year in jail, a full year in jail with both Andrew Tate and SBF.
Let's throw Diddy in the mix too.
Imagine that. No, I think we got a spin for amazing Erich is just wild.
Are you keeping track of all these, Danny?
Yeah.
Cool. All right, this one's for him.
For amazing Erich, let's go. Let's get my boy something good for Christmas.
Oh,
that's so brutal.
The Grinch.
Dude, we are off to a
God.
slow start here,
bro.
with zero, but
that is jail.
Yeah, hey, that's what happens. You can go to jail for 0 MON with SBF and Andrew Tate for an entire year. Kevin, I think you had a couple other good ones. I have one as well. Um,
Hmm. Yeah, I'll do my last one because we probably have like conversation topic for one more before I jump. Okay, and you have to kind of think about this one a little bit because the math changes depending on who it is. But would you rather never go on Twitter again for the rest of your life? Like it is like blocked. Like anytime there's a link that pops up, it's like blurred in your vision only. You can't see anything from Twitter again for the rest of your life, or not be able to invest in stocks.
oh,
I've I've never invested in a stock, so and truthfully, a lot of my like monetization and my like livelihood and income stems from X. So I'll just go first, and I'm gonna say that I'd rather never trade a stock again.
Which is
how are we how are we categorizing stocks? Is it like any traditional asset, like mutual funds, ETFs, like none of
you
that, or
you cannot own exposure to equities. Like you can't invest in the S&P 500. Like you can invest in precious metals and crypto, and you can buy real estate and you can own businesses. But you just can't own stocks. Like if it's not a business that you are like running, you can't own it. There's a lot of
Hmm.
asset classes. I don't know, but stocks are like pretty good in general.
Yeah, and I feel like stocks are just more so like set it and forget it type thing. Like you can be a little bit less knowledgeable and go in with kind of like a basket of recommended assets and probably do okay over the long term, but like crypto you could very easily buy the wrong thing and then you're just kind of smoked, which is what tends to happen to me. I don't
Right.
know.
I so
But then
and here's the like
similar to
could you
Jakey,
imagine our
like
parents like if you could imagine our parents hearing this and they're like
Okay.
Twitter probably doesn't exist in 10 years and you can never own stocks for the rest of your life when you're making that trade. Like it seems ludicrous. But if you think it like I don't know, in crypto, it's kind of like your career and future earning potential versus the ability to invest in a single asset class, which is I don't know.
that's a pretty good would you rather.
Yeah, it's really creative, to be honest. I don't think I would have been able to. Both of them are pretty creative. Like they're so like niched and like different that. But yeah, I've never yeah, I don't know. I've never bought a stock. Actually, I bought Tesla on Solana. So I guess, that counts. But other than that, I've never actually, bought any of it traditionally. And X is like I'm addicted to being on X.
Well, at least we know you're highly authentic, Jakey. You literally act the part for
Well,
sure.
I mean, like you said, you've made way more money on X than you've ever made on stocks. So like, it, yeah, it would be crazy. You're like, I'm gonna cut off my current ability to make money for something that you don't know much about.
Yeah, I don't know anything about. To be honest, like for me as well, I have no problem. I mean, I got into crypto in beginning of 2021, and that was like the first time I really gave a shit about like this type of internet money. Like I always remember like I'd have friends and uncles that always talk about stocks and all this, but I was never super interested in it. And then NFTs arguably are what made me interested in crypto. And then, once you're kind of here, you kind of never leave. The idea of retiring in crypto doesn't really exist. We're here permanently. Maybe it does for like very few people. So yeah, I never bought a stock. I never was super interested in it. But, you know, now the financial world is my whole world. And You could buy tokenized stocks on Solana, and that's interesting to me.
That's a good one. I want to spin for first time chatter who also says they're in Jakey's camp. They would not go for stocks. They would give up stocks and they would stay on X.
Who is it?
First time chatter, ASKALS9, Askels9.
All right, here, this one's for
Askels. We need you to put your X username in your bio so we can reach out and give you 2,500. Boom.
The most on this wheel.
We need like a bell or
The
something.
largest prize on the small wheel.
Yeah.
This is a beautiful day.
Hell yeah.
There we go.
You don't even have that in the office. That's great.
Love it. Askels9, 25 hundo.
Before you hop, Kevin, would you rather 1 million followers on X or 1 million subscribers on YouTube?
1 million followers on X. I was actually going to make this point when we were talking about Nick Shirley. It's like, what is worth more, 100 million views on Twitter or on YouTube? Like, I think you actually get paid more at the one-time pay for YouTube. But Mr. Beast has talked about it, like your subscriber base on YouTube is actually like a pretty weak connection to what people actually see. And I think followers are actually like pretty sticky on Twitter. Like if you follow someone, you're going to see their content. And so I think your future opportunity that comes from having 1 million followers on Twitter is much higher than like future opportunity of 1 million subscribers on YouTube.
10 years ago, it'd be different though, because subscribers
100%.
mattered. Yeah. Now they don't, because they changed the algorithm and like you don't see who you subscribe to. You just see it's individual video based. But
yeah, completely true. The only problem is if I'm choosing 1 million followers on Twitter and then also investing in stocks over Twitter, I just zeroed myself out. So I might take stocks and YouTube at that combo. If we're doing if we're like creating a matrix, like maybe that's the quadrant that you want, but on their own individually, I'm taking Twitter against the alternatives.
Chaos Walker.
All right.
Oh, peace, Kevin. Happy
Good to see you guys. Jakey, thanks for coming on. Excited to see you again at the base house when we come out.
Appreciate it, brother. Happy holidays.
Let's go.
Got you.
Dude, Chaos Walker said in the chat he would take option C, 1 million followers on OnlyFans, which is actually potentially the best way to monetize.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I mean, of course, if that was an option, I'm taking C as well. You're banking at that point, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
for sure.
Real money.
Yeah, 1 million followers. Because I think followers on OnlyFans is what? Subscriptions, right? So you got 1 million subscriptions, depending on what they pay per month. I mean, man, you could be making $5 million per month. Just off, yeah. Yeah, I'll take option C too, then, if that's an option.
Yeah, I'm in on that. I'm in on that. I'll take no more X, OnlyFans, 1 million subscribers, and then try and figure out how to trade stocks.
Yeah, there you go.
Which is actually hilarious because I found it pretty funny that a lot of like meme coin traders, crypto traders in general have just gotten into trading stocks now that, like, you know, crypto hasn't been super, super hot. Like there haven't been a ton of runners. Trenches consensus is like generally kind of cooled off for now. And now people are just like trading on Robinhood.
Yeah. Hopefully the bottom's close, you know, it's got to be close when the trenchers have pivoted to stocks, but they'll go where the money is, you know, at the end of the day, that's what it is. You know, wherever's the most lucrative or has the most volume, they'll trade it. And it has been interesting. But to be honest, I haven't traded a meme coin or been in the trenches in, I can't remember how long. Like I've bought, like, obviously with the base house and like creator coins, I've tried to support as many, but like I'm buying to just it's like I'm just burning money, you know. Like I don't sell any of them, but yeah, dude, I haven't traded in a while.
Yeah, it's always kind of weird, like to figure out what the current meta is, and then how much volume is going to be behind that. And like the great example is last year around this time, maybe 14 months ago, like coins are running to 100 mil every day, no problem. Like random coin pops up, like boom, 100 mil, easy. We haven't seen like really anything like that. I think White Whale got kind of close to it, but still not a lot of people were really paying attention to that. And I feel like with the changes to the algo as well, like CT is just like a little bit more disconnected, like a little bit more spread apart. You're seeing a lot more random stuff on the feed. So I feel like you're much more inclined to miss a runner, and then it's hard to price as well. Like how high is something going to go in this climate? Like people are really scared, so it's not stuff just isn't running.
Yeah, I think people just they got so jaded, and I wish there was. I actually just seen while we were on this stream, I was like scrolling X for a second, and ICO Beast just put out a tweet being like, "What really is the main difference, the main like different catalyst between 2024 where it would be a norm for a Solana token to hit 1 billion. Maybe not a norm for 1 billion, but 100 mil was pretty fucking normal. And then 2025, it's like it's a struggle. White Whale is like you can't really avoid it, and I don't think it's touched. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think it's touched 100 mil.
Didn't
so I don't
Peanut hit 2 bill?
Yeah, bro. And it's like we don't have those like narratives. And I do think, Danny, what you said hasn't really been talked about a lot. I think, it's become more of a conversation now, but it's been like this for at least a month where I've never been the type, like, if my engagement's down, I just automatically assume in me, I'm like, oh, I'm falling off. I need to like pick it up. I've never been the guy that's like, oh, the algo, man, what's with it? This is the first time in my life being on Twitter X that I'm like, no, something has changed. Like, it's not just my engagement being down. It's I'm not seeing other people's. Like, there's people that, I'm friends with that I haven't seen their content or their tweets for almost like, a whole week now, 2 weeks. So something has changed. And you're right, it's disconnected a little bit. And that plays a massive part in also, narratives in the trenches. Like it's, you're not seeing it as often, and like the replies, it's like I don't even look at my reply. I used to always look at my replies. I never look at them anymore because none of it, like 90% of them aren't real people. It's like these AI like intern things. And so you're right. Like I think that plays a huge part, but there's still all of 2025 that is kind of unquestioned, like in question, where I wonder what that difference was. Like, is it just got jaded and ran its course, or I don't know. I'm not sure.
It kind of is relevant to one of my would you rather, so might as well rip that.
Let's do it.
So you have 100K given to you, no matter what, but you can only use that to buy memes or NFTs. You have to hold whatever you buy for 5 years. Would you rather spend 100K on memes or NFTs right now and hold whatever you buy for 5 years? You could buy one NFT collection, you could buy one meme coin, you can buy as many as you want, but you have to pick either NFTs or memes.
You know what? Actually, I thought this was easy, and I was gonna be like, duh. Like both of them are kind of in a rough place, but meme coins are arguably. But then you look at like the lifespan. So I'm actually gonna go back, and I'm gonna say NFTs. And my reasoning for NFTs would be, I just don't think there's a world where Pudgy Penguins and Lucanets like don't like over the next 5 years don't do it. Like they don't like somehow capture that, and like whether the price maintains around the same and I just get my 100K after 5 years and I just dump them, or they kind of go down minimal, they kind of go up a little bit, but they kind of always remain relevant. And so I'm going to bet on Pudgy. I don't think there's a meme coin that I could do that with, or any type, or even like a basket, like a meme coin index. I don't think there's any of them that I would bet on for the next 5 years. That's crazy.
I would agree, and then I would say like it's more of the bet on the IP than the actual tech on that
True.
at that point. Like I would bet on Pudgy's IP and the stuff associated, which is the NFTs, especially if you're buying 100K worth of that. Like 100K worth of Pudgy NFTs is going to move the needle way more than buying 100K of a meme token.
True.
I was kind of thinking similarly, but I'm also biased by the fact that I don't think I've ever really made any money on NFTs.
Me
And
neither.
I've done all right on meme coins. Like I certainly haven't done well on either. Like no beating around the
5
bush.
years though, bro.
Yeah, but like I don't know. I feel like I don't know. I certainly agree. Like Pudgy IP is killer. It's probably not going anywhere. Pudgy though, you can have exposure to the ecosystem token, the Pengu meme coin, or you can buy the NFTs. Other things like, CryptoPunks, you can only really buy the NFT. And I think like most people would agree, CryptoPunks probably not going anywhere. OG instrumental community. I don't know. It's kind of a tough one. I'm definitely biased by the fact that I just got so clobbered in 21 on NFTs and just bought all the wrong JPEGs. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. I think both have their place and both will have staying power, but it is, hard to say like 5 years from now what's going to be around.
One other thing that I want to add to, because I'm in the same boat as you, Danny. I don't think I truly don't think I made a profitable trade on NFTs. Like if I did, it got outweighed by the next. Like I'm net negative on buying NFTs, but at least if you're holding for 5 years, like take take the monetary number out of it for like a second too. If you were to put that whole 100K in Pudgy, at least you have like that community, right? Like it kind of sticks around. Like there will always be 5 to 10 people that are like rocking a Pudgy, that are like in group chats or whatever. CryptoPunk, same thing. On a meme coin, it's like it's not even just like, can this thing survive 5 years? It's like when sentiment gets bad, it's like no one's talking about it anymore. There's not a real like community attached to it. So I think like I look at like 5 years. Yeah.
Let's go. We've got our 4th guest on stream. Unreal.
Yeah.
GM.
What's up, guys?
What's going
Welcome
on?
on out in the morning.
It's my dad, Mark.
Merry Christmas. Happy New Year, boys.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Appreciate you joining us. What's on tap for today?
I just got out of the shower.
Bingo. Did Jakey get the wood stove going here? Is it warm in the garage?
It's going right now. Why didn't you light it yet, Jake?
I did. It went out.
Oh.
I'll get it going after. I've been a little busy. Anyways.
What a legend.
Yeah. NFTs.
NFTs are the move, I guess. I don't know. It kind of relates to what we were talking about previously, though, because you're talking about like the community around NFTs, and then the fact that like, the X comments are a lot of slop, and meme coins don't really hold community. And with everyone like kind of being in this very skeptical, jaded state about the future of crypto, I actually think there has to be this return to community, and NFTs were a big part of that from day one. Like people really got attached to the IP, the art. Like, oh, I'm buying this thing because the art is sick and it's $20,000 JPEG. Like you just kind of lose all semblance of logic, and it's just all about like the community, the people in the chat, and I feel like that has to come back, right?
I would hope so. I would think so. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if we ever see NFTs like we definitely don't see NFTs like they once were. but I do think there's a world where sentiment is a little bit better around them. And like we kind of seen it too with I can't remember what Pudgy did. They're always doing something. But we kind of seen it with Pudgy at least, at some point 2024. I think it was right before their token. So maybe not the best example. But like people gave a shit and like it was all over the timeline and people were buying NFTs again. So I would hope so. That's my conclusion.
I think for them, like, it actually is pretty clear cut that, if they continue to grow this IP and they
Yeah.
continue to not even just like necessarily focus on the holder base, but focus on getting more kids excited about Pudgy, increasing the brand placement, like the collaborations, things like that. Their OG community of holders like is very strong, and I don't think that's going anywhere, especially if they continue to just grow the IP. And I could see that actually being like the thing that fulfills this idea of like, oh, this is the new Disney that everyone was talking about in 2021. Like, oh, these IPs are going to be huge. There's going to be movies. There's going to be video games. There's going to be toys in Walmart and all of that stuff. And I think like those holders are pretty bought in on that, and they're bought in on the IP. But the distribution has to obviously come from just like, kids and normal consumers and things like that. But of all the IPs in crypto, like Pudgy definitely has by far the biggest head start.
Agreed. By a mile, no debate.
No debate there. Let's get another spin going for the chat. We're coming up on time here. I'm having a ton of fun. Hopefully you guys are too.
Jakey, did you do any of the two truths and a lie?
I didn't. I could probably wing something.
I'm curious because I'm sure that you have done a lot of stuff.
Yeah, two
That's
truths and a lie. Are we gonna do the spin first, or should I?
Sure,
let's do a spin while you're thinking about it.
Okay.
I can do the most straightforward one, which is write a number on this post-it, and the first person to guess it in the chat gets the spin. How do we feel about that?
Well, here let's scroll. We'll just do a quick would you rather, and then we'll see.
Well, we got a ton of numbers.
Would you rather be known for one legendary viral moment or 10 years of consistent relevance?
Wait, how are we picking the spin based off of this?
Well, yeah, and then I'll just see who has interesting answers.
Well, I said numbers, and the chat is full of numbers, so yeah, I feel like I got to honor
They're
that first.
Crazy.
I've got my number written down. I don't see it yet, though. Someone asked, what number is it? That's up to you, man. You tell me. See some that are pretty close.
We could be here for a while.
Someone missed it by 1. I'm like kind of behind on the chat too, though.
That's going crazy. There's no way that.
Wow, someone's off by 2, someone's off by 1. My hint is that it's between 0 and 100. It's not even that hard. We've done between 1 and a trillion before.
While he's looking, though, Jakey, I want to know, like, would you rather be known for one legendary viral moment or 10 years of mid-level consistent relevance?
10 years. Because I think, like, one of the things I've been telling the guys at the base house as well is like the best creators on the internet are the ones that are able to like recognize and pivot, you know, in real time. And so like one great example of this, whether you like him, dislike him, it doesn't really matter. He's one of the best creators in modern day over like the last decade, if not longer, is Jake Paul, because he's
Yeah.
been so good at, he does this, he makes headlines, a bunch of people talk about him. All right, it's ran its course. He knows when to pivot, and it's like, so he went from Vine, Vine, and then he did Disney for a little bit, and then he was a YouTuber, and he was doing like, music that people made fun of, but then he was doing the vlogs, and then now he's pivoted to being one of the biggest prize, boxers, in the world, and so that's over
He
the course
also
of like the last. Go ahead.
he also like was the first and biggest person to embrace the Sora quick hit that literally went crazy viral for him.
Yeah, he's as much as a great creator that he is. The business side, he's like incredible. Both the Paul brothers really are. Like, he's an early investor in OpenAI. Yeah, Sora, like that campaign was just, it was incredible. It was probably one of the best creator campaigns for, a product or, an app that I've seen either ever or in like the last 10 years. And so, I would choose 10 years, because 10 years, then you've proven, like for me, I'm a big legacy guy. And so I think a legacy of being a good creator for 10 years and maintaining relevance in a world where they tell you that like you have 2 years as a creator, a musician, the top musicians have roughly 7 years, 10 years, you've done a whole decade of being able to, not crash and burn, be able to like pivot and have people talk about you, compared to realistically, any creator, anybody on the internet can have a viral moment, like a really big viral moment. Yeah, it's a little bit harder, but we've seen it early on. What were like some of the Vine one, like, Damn Daniel. I don't know if you guys remember that guy that like worked at Target. He went on Ellen and he had this crazy viral moment, just some random guy working at Target. But it's like he wasn't a
The cranberry juice guy from Idaho.
yeah.
Like I mean,
Oh, that guy's electric.
Ford gave him a truck for like, but he hasn't done anything since then. Like,
It's probably still doing that format.
Yeah, he's a legend. Like he's part of internet lore, but like, it would have been a lot cooler if he, to this day he was trucking along, he was all over TikTok. And so, 10 years of relevance is just a way cooler legacy. I think what you build over 10 years, like how many different formats, like you look at FaZe Clan, the new gen and all this fell apart, but I knew FaZe Clan when they were in the FaZe House, New York, and there's so much like memories I have. And like, regardless of what happened, is like, that was just so gangster. And like, people have this like narrative on Banks, and people don't like FaZe Banks. He has a terrible reputation in crypto, but I think about the FaZe Banks that built FaZe to what it was, 10 years ago. And to me, this is dope. So what can happen in 10 years is insane. Different evolutions is crazy as a creator.
All right, the chat's going nuts because I found the winner like 2 minutes ago, and they're still guessing numbers. It's Celestial Natty, got 72.
Cool.
It's on the post. It was the first
Celestial
one.
Natty.
Celestial Natty. Let's go.
Oh, big wheel.
Big wheel. All right. Big wheel for Celestial Natty. Next week when we're back in the studio, we'll get it going. Shout out Celestial Natty. Often hanging with us on Monad in the morning. But to jump in on the would you rather, I'm definitely with Jakey. Like it's kind of like, do you want to win the lottery, or do you want to be, responsible for like, steady growth and have something to be really proud of and have that legacy? Sure, like there's some skill potentially involved in being a one-hit wonder, but I don't know. I feel like it's much better to just like have consistent compounding growth.
The lottery was 1.8 billion like a week ago, I would have taken the lottery. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, but like you look at like how many people win the lottery and like squander it, and a couple of years later they're like right back where they started, and it's like, yeah, that was cool. Like maybe you learned something, maybe you had a good time for a few years, but I don't know, you're probably more fulfilled and proud if you've like worked towards something for a long time. Like you can really, I don't know, pat yourself on the
Yeah,
back and be like, yeah, I did it.
like
I committed to this thing and I did it.
yeah, it's like I guess it depends on well, like with any question and like opinion, it depends on who you kind of ask or like what you're looking for. But like as a creator, you know, you have one viral moment and then it fizzles. Like you're not a good creator. Like you didn't figure it out,
For
you know,
sure,
or
yeah.
like maybe you're not a good creator, but you didn't figure it out. You know, you had an opportunity, pressure was on, and you weren't able to to figure that out, to find the structure. And so, but 10 years, like you're one of the best ever do it. I mean, in modern day, like as a YouTuber, if you're a YouTuber that has maintained relevance for 10 years, like bro, you've figured it out. Like you have an incredible community and audience that you've built.
Or you could be going back to the OnlyFans. You could be Bad Bobby and have the "Catch Me Outside" viral clip, and then start an OnlyFans. She's one of the top creators.
But you know what's crazy is that I actually don't think I'll actually debate you on that. I don't think she's a good example of the viral moment thing because that happened in 2016 and before the OnlyFans came in. I don't remember when it did. It could have whatever. But she really took that like moment
Yeah,
and like spread
she's
it across
tried to
everything.
tried to rap. Yeah,
Yeah, but like she had a top Billboard charting two of her records. Like one of them,
right.
I'm pretty sure is platinum. You know, and it has a little yachty feature on it, but it's like platinum. And so she did the rap thing. She like was super successful on Snapchat and like even her YouTube for a while. She sold merch that was probably, you know, she probably raked in millions from merch. Like people genuinely like fucked with her, and then, you know, she does whatever, you know, whatever. I'm not even gonna get into it, but she makes the OnlyFans and that's her retirement play basically.
Yeah. Yeah. I only know that she was one of the top creators just because my son literally asked me like, "Who do you think makes the most money on that?" And we were googling top 50 over the weekend, and she was in one of the top creators on OnlyFans, which is crazy. I would have never guessed.
All right, I know we're coming up on time here. I wanna close it out. Not a would you rather, not a clip farm, but sometimes on MON in the morning or the pipeline we do Final Alpha, which we've shamelessly ripped from the Up Only podcast, which we're still waiting on more of these episodes. Coinbase paid 25 mil for more Up Only episodes, but we'll take Final Alpha until they're back. Final Alpha can be more so like the traditional crypto alpha, but it certainly doesn't have to be. It can be any bit of advice or takeaway you want to leave the chat with, Jakey. Can be your favorite book or favorite movie or anything to close it out with today.
I'm trying to think. Have you guys seen the Marty Supreme movie?
Not yet.
Me neither.
No, the marketing's great though.
Yeah, I really want to see it. I don't know. I this is one of the remarks that I'm gonna say right now, just because I think it's something that I've reminded myself over the break here. Is, you know, as a creator, for me, I've every time I come home, it kind of reminds me of like, you know, it's much slower pace. It reminds me of how much I miss being home, and it gives me a time to kind of like decompress and just analyze, because I feel like from June and starting the base house until now, I've never actually sat alone and just like thought about things other than work. Like what do my next 5 years look like? You know, what's like, you know, how is everything at home? Like what is like, you know, just like little things that you kind of forget on a day-to-day basis because you're moving so quickly. And one of the like realizations I've had since coming home is that like
I do really want to get back to like creating what I want to create. And with that is like just like when we first started the stream, we were kind of talking about, the short form brain rot versus like the vlogs and the high production stuff. I really want to I want to work hard over the next 3 months with the Based House and get it to a point where we have a core audience where we can get back to doing stuff like that. Because, and even on the streaming side, I mentioned something about like desktop streaming, and that's more or less me, possibly, convincing myself that desktop streaming is going to make a comeback because it's what best like suits for me. But I'm like, I don't like doing the IRL streams. And so when I get back to the Based House, I'm going to start doing the desktop streams because that's what I enjoy. And I'm going to find a structure and a plan that best fits for that. And so I don't know, it's not really alpha, but like to anybody kind of out there, that's, on the creative side or even on the business side, whatever you do, make sure you like doing it. I know it's cliche and sometimes money gets in the way of those things, but even if you work a job that you don't necessarily like, make sure that, when you're going home and you have free time, that you're doing shit you genuinely enjoy doing. Because at that point, it's like, you get lost in the sauce in life. And I think it's very easy to get sidetracked, especially like dividing work from like personal things that you just enjoy. Anyways, I don't know. Wasn't alpha, but it's thoughts that I've had over the last 3 days. And if, I figured it's probably a good time to just share them on the platform you guys have given me here. So
No, it actually is great final alpha. It reminds me, we had Frank Chaparro on a couple months ago, and he had a great final alpha, which is pretty much what you're saying. He will often ask people on podcasts, streams, whatnot, are you having fun? And he says like that throws a lot of people off. They actually sit back and they're like, oh, that's like a weird question. Like I've never really thought about it. I just get up, like I know what I need to do. I, get my stuff done as quickly as possible. But like, are you having fun? Are you enjoying the process? And then if you're not, like, do you have a plan beyond that? Do you have a plan to get into a state where you can do the things that you enjoy and maybe you can monetize off them? Maybe you can make it, find a job or make a career out of it. And I think that's important perspective. Like if you get the opportunity to do a reset and think about those things, like do it by all means.
What's crazy is I'm not familiar. What was his name? Frank Shapiro?
Frank Chaparro. Yeah. He's an absolute legend.
Okay. I'm not familiar. Unfortunately, I'd love to get familiar, but the fact like that is one, I'm not even joking. Like that's one of my favorite questions and I'll tweet it often. Like, are you having fun? Because I try to remind myself like, yeah, there's times where I'm like just doing shit to do it. Cause I'm like, and then, you it's your time to go to bed. You're like winding down. You're like, damn, I didn't have fun today at all. Like I enjoy what I do, but I'm like so focused on just getting done and making sure I hit my my quotas on, whatever it may be for this brand or even for myself personally. And you go to bed and you're like, damn, I didn't really do anything that genuinely where I had fun, And I think that it's just like important. It's like cliche and maybe it's childish, but like I think it's super important.
Definitely.
Let's stream some Arc Raiders.
Bro, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think, with the desktop streams, it's like, of course, I gotta do the clip farms. I gotta make sure that it's entertaining. I gotta figure out like structure. But like, yeah, I want to game again. Like that shit's fun to me. And like, if other people can make a career off of gaming and why can't I? Like it exists. Like I may as well fucking do it. So let's stream some Arc Raiders, dude.
Like yesterday or whatever the weekend was, Sunday. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go into this round, and you can pick up snowballs, and I loaded out mine. I didn't take anything in. I just brought a flute and snowballs, and then tried to make friends with strangers with the flute. So I'm like playing the flute to them. And the guy's like, "What are you doing?" And then just start throwing snowballs at him. And like one guy kills me to take my loot, and I know that he opened it, and there's only snowballs there. Like I was just like, yeah, just having fun, and like I have that clip. I was gonna pull it off, and it was just like, I just wanted to have fun. Like, why am I doing it? Because literally, it just sounded fun.
Yeah, and I mean, this is the last thing I'll say on this because I know we're at time here, but it's what first attracted me to crypto. I was working a sales job and I was not excited about opening up the CRM every morning and looking through the list of people I had to call and bother about upgrading their marketing and sales software. And at the same time, I saw a bunch of kids like me on the internet minting JPEGs, making thousands of dollars, hanging out in Telegram chats and Discord, and getting pilled on this idea that crypto is going to replace the entire financial system. And while we're doing it, we're trading monkey pictures, and some people were making money, not me, but I was having fun nonetheless, and there was a dream there. And yeah, I hope we can kind of get back to that. I think there's certain times like you get the ebb and the flow of the markets and sentiment, but I have to think we're at or close to a sentiment bottom here, and there is a lot of real progress happening in crypto. There's a lot of cool things happening in crypto, and if you just kind of zoom out and stick with the stuff that you genuinely enjoy and work hard at it, stay consistent, then that's where the opportunity is. So would love to get back to that.
I'm gonna add one more thing on that, and then we can stop, and I'll keep it short. But to the people watching too, if you're new to crypto, and I think crypto has given this sense that like your only way of making it in crypto is like trading, which is like, yes, above all, like speculation in trading assets, whether it's like altcoins, Bitcoin, your leverage trading, your meme coin trading, whatever, like that exists, and it's probably like the main component to crypto and what people talk about. But crypto also offers all this other like there's like a job for everything. When you talk about like intern is a form, it's like an expression. You get paid here in crypto to like, intern someone's account. But it's like you look at that and like how that operates, and you look at like even what you guys do, here with the pipeline. It's like for me, it's like I'm not a trader. I didn't come into crypto as a trader. I came in as a creator that was like creating content and was able to like position myself to like work with these brands, because these brands need advertising just like brands in Web 2 or like these other apps that have no crypto integration. They need commercial work. They need advertising work. And so basically what I'm trying to say is that there's like room for like everything. There's ways to monetize in crypto aside from just trading the newest meme coin or whatever. So yeah, poorly worded, but I just want to put it out there.
If
beautiful sentiment.
If you could ask the next person anything, Jakey, what would you want to ask them? Literally
anybody
anything.
on Earth?
Yeah, whoever the next guest is going to be. We don't know who it is yet, so.
Are you having fun?
Cool.
Good one. Well, Jakey, thank you very much for hanging out with us this morning. Really appreciate it. We'll have to run it back soon for sure, either remotely or hopefully in person. Based House season 3 upcoming. Super excited. We've got 2026 very bright on the horizon. It's been awesome doing, I think, 43 episodes of MON in the morning in 2025. Bunch of podcasts, ton of content in between. Appreciate everyone who's hung out in the chats with us, hit the like button on Twitter, commented, retweeted, everything in between. Future is bright for sure. So appreciate all the viewers, all the listeners, all the followers, and appreciate you, Jakey, for coming on. Appreciate you, Jessup, always working magic on the production side and being on camera as well. 2026, big year upcoming. We're going to be chipping away and compounding growth, and would love for all of you to be a part of that. So let's go. A lot of potential.
Appreciate you. Thank you for having me.
Thanks, everyone.
Peace. Happy New Year.